Wednesday you do the show, then
Must be Tuesday.
then it must be Tuesday. That it is. Down in sports in the building. You see Browski over there. She's in the captain's seat tonight. Browski's doing her thing in the captain's seat tonight, holding it down. I'm left-handed at RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. And over there, you got Yada Bear, aka High Ceilings, aka Can't Nothing Hold Me Down, aka Get the F out of here, Nick Castellanos. All right. Um, no general conversation tonight, man. Not a lot really to chop up, man, unless we want to really get in depth with like the college basketball side of things. I'm not really interested in Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather.
Oh God.
No, no, and no. Not interested. Um, Hope everybody's survived. You see who did down in sports survived the snow,
The second blizzard.
the second blizzard. 26 ain't playing with us, right? 26 ain't playing with us. We got Browski in the house. What's up, y'all? Bear? How you feeling? What's going on with the deal?
Man, chilling, dealing with these allergies and dealing with the snow. At least the snow this time around, it was just snow. None of that freezing rain, none of that sleet. It was just regular snow. So it wasn't as bad, but it was still bad, Once the first batch of snow was melted away, the snow pile started shrinking. I'm like, yeah, people parking normally. Here come another 13 to 14 inches here. I said,
Right, right.
I said, this is wow.
right,
I said we was just getting back to normal.
right.
But winter, Mother Nature is you know what they say.
Hmm.
Um, and I just feel like, for the past couple of winters, we kind of been spoiled, haven't really been that cold, haven't really had like no real big snowstorms. I think the
Right,
last
right.
big
You right,
storm
you right, you
around
right,
these parts
you
was like
right,
what 2016,
right,
2017. So
right.
I mean, yeah, 2016. So that's 10 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we was due for winter to be wintering. We freezing temperatures,
Wintering.
people pipes freezing, water
Right.
lines bursting. It was like extremely cold, and then ice storm, snowstorm, blizzard. So hey, we got
And,
another 6 weeks left of this. We can
and the
survive
thing,
it.
everybody got hit.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody. And here's the thing: what you just mentioned. You mentioned how it hasn't been a nice, decent winter in about 10 years. Now you count from 2016 up until now. Those all those winters in between, where people was talking greasy about the winter. Oh man, it
Yeah.
ain't so. What is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, here
see,
you go.
yeah, here you go. So again, I think yeah, you hit it on the head. Where it's like winter is wintering,
Yes, it
right?
is.
You get everything that you could ask for in the winter: the
Uh
snow, the
huh.
freezing rain, the cold, the black ice, it's busting it behind outside, and
Yeah.
then it comes back to people just being creative with it and having fun with the snow and doing what they do. But like we talked about the first snowstorm that lasted like that snow seemed like it was out there for a month. That snow
Yeah.
wasn't going nowhere.
Was going nowhere.
You know what I mean? But like you said, this second snowstorm, at least we dealt with like 30s and 40s, and now okay, it was slushy and soft, and it was snowball. That was snowball snow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. Salute to all of my peoples out there. Washington Square Park was getting it in with the Jakes throwing snowballs at the Jakes as you should. You know what I mean? I don't condone it, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. It's Tuesday night. And we've been holding y'all down on Tuesday nights for a couple of years now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And we're doing what we do. So where we gonna begin tonight, Browski? You running the show tonight. Where we begin?
Um. I mean, we can start with a little spring training. Spring training is in
Okay.
the
All
air.
right.
Baseball is back.
She just
Um.
want to talk some more junk about Nick Castellanos.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. I'm done off of hell. He's old news now. He's he's a Padres problem now. So
Mm.
I'm not really worried about that. Um, Phillies. Um, this spring training, we really focused on looking at the young guys. We had Justin Crawford. You know, he's right now projected to be our starting center fielder. You know, hopefully when the season start. Um, he looked pretty good. You know, in the first two games I've seen him in. He started out spring training with a double, hitting the leadoff spot. So like with him, I'm just interested to see him in the lineup. You know, with a Trey Turner, uh, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper. Just to see where Topper will put him at in the lineup because he kind of reminds me of like a Trey Turner type of batter. You know, um, not a lot of power, but a double machine. He's very fast. You know, swift on the bag. So it'll be interesting to see where he will fall in that batting lineup. Also, we got a chance to see Adoris Garcia. You know, uh, out there in right field. You know, he looked good. So you know, right now we just
That's the outfield
really,
you got from Texas, right?
yeah. So we're just really just looking at the young guys. Hopefully we get to see Aiden Miller. Hopefully we'll see a session with Andrew Painter on the mound. You know, I feel like this is the right time to try to mix in some of these young guys with our vets to, you know, possibly put a spark plug in their behind, you know, and bring some youth into this lineup because we're starting to get old, and the guys that we have that's supposed to be young, they're not really pulling their weight. So you know, this is a good chance to inject some excitement into this getting old lineup right now. But
That's crazy. It's a good old lineup.
I mean for real. So that's really what's going on here. What's going on with the Yankees?
You know, same thing, different toilet. You know what I mean? Just trying to get some people healthy. You know, Garrett Cole do a little session. You know, we try to see what we could get out of Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt. You know what I mean? Just try to get some workouts back. Try to see them sometime during the season. But um, we still got Spencer Jones in camp. Elmer Rodriguez is in camp. But the guy that didn't talk about outside of George Lombard, and these are guys' names that I mentioned have been in spring training for like maybe 3 or 4 years now. Um, I think that when you talk about pitching, the Yankees have it. They have a lot in abundance down in the camp and down in the minor systems. But who's going to stay and who's going to go? That's the question, I think. You know, because I think something is out there. But again, I think we talked about it behind the scenes where it's like I come to grips and come to the realization. I talked to my man Buzzy A. Salute to Malcolm. Um, I come to the realization that the Yankees are looking, they're forward thinking. That's the only, excuse I can give them for not going out and getting somebody. Because we already talked about the guy that got somebody that we already had. You know what I mean? So that don't really count. So, we're looking to go try to, get a little younger. But the pieces that we have, those guys are minor league veterans, Browski, if that makes sense. We've been talking about Spencer Jones for
Yeah,
like 3 or 4 years now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Jason Dominguez finally got a look. Louis Gill got a look. Clark Schmidt got a look. So, what's the matter with George Lombard? What's the matter with Spencer Jones? Right? So, you got some hard throwers in camp, some throwers that you're going to have to depend on because the season starts in a few weeks. It's
yeah,
crazy to say that, but the season starts March 26th. And today is what, February 22nd?
yeah. And then we got the WBC
And we got the
coming
World
up.
Baseball Classic coming up. Absolutely, Kimmy. So again, it's going to be kind of like this. The steps are going to be a little bit more lively. You know what I mean? Camp is going to be like kind of like a little bit more You have to get more juices going early. But I
Yeah,
think that what the Yankees are going to do now, man, I want to see if standard pat works because the Blue Jays didn't, the Red Sox didn't, the Orioles didn't. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and, and we'll see if that works out, and hopefully it will. But my baseball predictions and the baseball preview is going to be kind of crazy. I'm
Um,
telling you right now, it's going to be kind of crazy.
did you hear what Tweet Scooble said about him just pitching in one game in the WBC?
Right.
I think it's kind of wild, because I feel like if he's not going to commit, then why be on the team? There could have been a spot for somebody else who was looking for it, to pitch in the WBC. I kind of feel like the Olympics. If you commit to it, then you
Then
have
do
to
it.
go through the whole thing. And I just want to pitch in one game and then come back, and then if we advance, go watch the team play. No, then don't participate at all. Like you shouldn't even be on the
He
roster.
he, he
That's
also
kind of
also
like
Cash Patel's it.
yeah, like that kind of annoyed me so because I was like, well, then what makes you so special? You want prepared for the season with Detroit? Then stay with Detroit. Don't participate in this. So I just thought that was a little wild, and hopefully I feel like they need to change the rule and say like if you're going to participate, you got to fully commit to this. Like this is a commitment, and you know they didn't force you. You wanted to do this, and now you were going to play one game. Like
And,
I
and,
mean,
let me say this, Kimmy, you damn sure ain't playing for free.
you're not.
You're not. So
You're not.
again, I can agree with that part about if you're gonna be on the team,
Yeah,
right? So again, if you're just gonna be like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, just have 2 feet out.
yeah.
You
This
know,
it's giving me the Team USA basketball vibes before everybody started committing to be on Team USA.
yeah.
Nobody wanted to be on that team, and then you had college players, and then it was just like, oh well, we just throw a team together at the last minute, and because they're the superstars of the NBA. It's like no, it don't work that way. They're not a team; it's a group of individuals, and that's how I feel like the WBC, like our team, is starting to be. Because I'm pretty sure the Dominican team, or the Venezuela team, or the Costa Rica team, these guys are together. They playing for the pride of their country, and us here in the United States, they're so spoiled and entitled that they're just like, oh yeah, this is just I get to play with my homies, I get to play with my friend for a couple of weeks, and then that's it. But these guys are playing for the pride of their country. And I mean, when you look at our country, it's like, well, I understand how some guys don't want to be too proudful of what we're putting out in the world,
Let's
but
go, Browski.
but still, I'm like,
Let's go, Browski.
you guys come together as a group. You're supposed to bond as a team and play for your country. You may not like what's happening, but it's still your country, and you still choose to play and represent the USA. So I feel like go all the way in or all the way out. No half.
Um, I feel like that was very profound. You know, because other countries have stuff going on too.
Yeah. Look what's going on in
Absolutely.
Mexico.
Right. You know what I mean? And so those players are, not letting that hinder their decision to play for their country in the World Baseball Classic. As opposed to the United States, where we have a lot of stuff going on and people, free to speak their mind and things of that nature, but don't play both ends against the middle. If you're
Yeah.
gonna make, you can make all the statements that you want, but this is not even about that. This is just about being there with your team,
Yeah.
right? And being all the way in. It's not like you're gonna pitch 3 games in the World Baseball Classic. You have other pitchers on the USA team. I think isn't Paul Skeens on the USA team?
Yes, he is.
So it's not like you'll be pitching 3 or 4 or 5 games. So
It's not like you gonna be pitching a complete game anyway.
anyway,
You probably pitch about 5 innings,
if
maybe,
that, yeah, right, absolutely. So
maybe even that.
right. So again, that goes back to Browski's original point. What is what's your mission statement for being on the World Baseball Classic team, but only wanting to pitch one game?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I guess we'll deal with that. Um, have you watched any spring training baseball yet to see the first couple of days?
Um, yeah, I watch a little bit here and there. I mean, it's baseball, you know. I enjoy watching baseball, so I enjoy seeing, the young guys looking at the pictures. Um, I'm loving the robot umpire. I'm loving that because now, guess what? We got a strike zone. Oh my God. We have a consistent strike zone, a more consistent strike zone. And now, when we are arguing balls and strikes, oh, we could go to the robot and it will show you exactly how many inches off or if you was on the strike zone. I think it was one game I watched, forgot who it was. The guy, tapped his
Yeah.
helmet, didn't really count. They said, "Oh, we'll go to the robot." He was an inch below the strike zone, like a point 1
Hmm.
inch from the strike zone. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a ball." I was like, "Look at that! Look at that!" Because if I, the viewer, can look and say, "Oh, that's off the plate," and you're standing right here on top of the plate, and
And still can't get it
you
right.
can't see that, and you can't get it right. Now there's no excuse. There's no excuses now. Now pitchers have to pitch, and then we will see who are really the true pitchers. Because, like I said earlier, we love Tariq Skubal and Paul Steves, but now that we have a magnifying glass on top of that whole plate, are you really hitting your spots? Are you really hitting those corners? How far off of the corners are you? Or are you
'Cause
on the plate? Are
it's
you
going to
off the
matter,
plate?
right?
So there's
Right.
going to be you have to be more accurate
Right. It's
all
going
the
to
way
matter.
around. So I'm
But it's
loving
going
it.
to matter, right?
I'm loving it. So it's going to be a real battle between pitcher and batter, and I'm excited to see the outcome. I'm excited to see, Shohei out there and to really see how great he is as a pitcher. Like, is he really, just dancing around that strike zone, or is he just getting the calls? So that's gonna be
I,
something
I,
for us to watch.
I'd like to see what happens if a call gets made that a batter might think is wrong and he wants to argue with the robot. That's see, but see, today's ball player, we got they're not going to do that. But you got the Paul O'Neills of the world. They'll take a bat to that. They'll take a bat to right. They will take a bat to that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Baseball will be here before we even know it.
Yes.
Um, hope we're ready. The baseball preview is gonna come maybe in bits and pieces this year. Cause man, listen, we gotta do the baseball preview, then we gotta do March Madness and get the conference tournaments ready and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So Rossi's gonna be burning the midnight oil, watching all the late night sports
Oh my
center and all
God. It's gonna
that and that,
be,
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
that's what we enjoy. That's our thing. Speaking of, let's get into some NBA, Browski. Let's talk about your
Yeah.
Sixers a little bit. What's
Um,
on your mind?
I mean, the same thing I've been saying all year. This is a year of we don't know. Joel is back tonight. Finally, He's been out for the past couple, like 6 games. One was the knee maintenance, and then he came up with this shin issue. It's always something, you know. We're still waiting for Paul George to come back from his suspension. Um, we picked up Cam Payne from off of the waiver. Um, Maxie is still holding on, playing as good as he has been. He has really been the glue for this team. VJ still fantastic out there. He basically carried that momentum from the All Star break into the second half of the season, and this is when the season actually really starts right here. Then we all playing for playoff position, trying to secure our spot, and just see where you know, where we measure up with the rest of the East. I mean, we had a fantastic win against the Timberwolves the other day. Tyrese Maxey basically posterized Ed
Yeah, I saw
Anthony
that.
Edwards, man.
It's
That was
and then
crazy.
now.
Yeah, that was crazy. So that was a good one because we was on like a 5 game losing streak. So to go into Minnesota, a really good team, and pull the show like that with Maxi and VJ, the 1-2 punch. Um, that was very good to see tonight. We're playing against the Pacers um, in Indiana, and we're up by 10. It's halftime, so you know we take it one game at a time. I'm not jumping out the window because of Joel's health and Paul George suspension. So hopefully, when Paul George come back, um, he had his mind right. He's well rested, um, healthy. So that we can try to make a push for the playoffs and like I said, see what happens. What's going on with your Knicks?
Besides him being schizophrenic, same thing. You know, um, it reminds me of a old movie called Life when the homie told him, "Don't be scared." Now it's getting into the part of the season now where the Knicks are going to have to prove that they belong. Everybody talked about them, but they have to go out there and play the game. A lot of people was on Carl Anthony Towns and his interaction with Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. Here's my thing. This is what I wanted to say about that. I think that Carl Anthony Towns took the. I'm not going to call it criticism because it wasn't criticism. It was just truth. He
Yeah,
took it as a indictment of how he's playing, which
yeah,
it kind of sort of was, but he wasn't. I didn't get out of it, Browski, that
but it
Shaq
was the
did everything
truth.
wrong. He was telling them that all you need to do if you want to be that championship guy. Carl Anthony Towns is talking about, well, it takes all of us, this and that and the third. I get it. It does take all of you. But who do they want to talk about? They want to talk about how their center, Carl Anthony Towns, led the Knicks to a championship or was really, really instrumental in bringing the championship to New York. We all know how this thing goes. You have to be that guy. You
Yeah,
still have the soft label. Let's keep it green. You still got that soft label. When you
yeah,
talk about centers in the NBA who dominated and got championships, you think about Shaq, you think about Wilt, you think about Bill, you think about Kareem, you think about Moses Malone. Those guys' names stand out. That's all we want you
yeah,
to do. And that's what Shaq and Browski, get at me. Because that's what Shaq's point was. You're in New York. The big men, Patrick Ewing, right?
yeah,
The big
yeah.
man. And you have to portray that. They want so bad in New York City for Carl Anthony Towns to be that guy. You can't
But
be
he
that
not
guy
he
off.
not
No,
that
he's not.
guy.
No, he's not. You
he has
can't be that
proved
guy,
that,
man. I think
and
that's what Shaq and them was saying, Kimmy.
yeah, he's proved that year over year. Like even when he was in Minnesota, that was supposed to be his team. Anthony Edwards came in and took the team
And
right from him.
snatched it. Snatched it right
Snatched
off
it,
the snap.
got him sent to New York. And now that he's here, like a lot of people don't understand playing in the East will always be center dominant. You know, Carl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Giannis. Um, I mean, we could go back in the day, like you said, Patrick, Gordon, Moses, Charles, Bill. Like we always had dominant big guys in here, and on the East. And for him to be in one of the biggest basketball markets in New York and to still have this title of being soft
Right.
is crazy
Right.
because if a scuffle happened, we know Josh Hart is going to be in the middle of this. Cat gonna be running away like, guys, no, stop.
I'm
That's crazy.
I was
Wow.
Anthony Towns would play Anthony Towns would play the Derek Jeter role.
Yes.
He would be off to the side somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's not what Carl Anthony Towns is supposed to do. That's what Derek Jeter is supposed to do, but
Yeah.
that's not
They're supposed to
what.
be in the mix.
Huh?
He's supposed to be in the mix. Stand
Absolutely
on
in
the
the mix.
sideline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely in the mix. So I think again, going back to what Shaq and Charles Barkley was saying, bring that beast out of you, man. Make other centers that come into the Garden or know that they have to play Carl Anthony Towns that they're gonna get banged out. They're gonna have a tough go on their hands for 48 minutes. And I think that's what they were saying. And Carl
I don't
Anthony
think he got
Towns,
it in him.
right? I don't
He don't
think
got it in him.
I don't think he got it in him.
He don't got it in him. Carly Tales is finesse. He's a finesse. I just want to shoot threes. I want to pull up on the shoulder. He don't want to get down and get dirty. He don't want to be down on that post like that.
Mm.
He'll that's not his that's not his life. That is not his ministry down there. And that's just something that I feel like you Knicks fans just have to get over and realize you can't make him into something that he's not.
He's not. Right.
Take him as he is. He's
Right.
a
And I
soft
think even
guy out there.
even on that note where, comparison and contrast where you have Embiid and you got Tyrese Maxey, right? If Embiid's not, getting his 30 and 20, Maxey's gonna get 40 and 8 or 40 and
Hmm.
12, right?
Yeah.
So again, Jalen Brunson, if he's having an off night and Carl Anthony Towns is having an off night, we can't win like that. Right? If Embiid has an off night, we know Tyrese Maxey's going to step up. We know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Brunson has an off night, do we know that Carl Anthony Towns is going to step up?
Yeah. Don't know.
And I think that's what was missing out of the conversation. We just want Carl Anthony Towns to play like the center that we know he can play, like that he can be. It's in him, but he doesn't show it.
I don't think it's in him. I think what he's showing you guys is exactly who he is.
Mm.
I think everything that Shaq and Charles are saying, you know, is what they
It's
want him to
correct.
be.
Right.
It's
It's
right,
correct.
but it's what they want him to be. But I think Carl Anthony Towns is showing you who he is. This is him right here. Y'all can want that, but this is what you got, and I think you guys gotta live with it and accept it.
And the bottom line is Anthony Towns, for much as they want to, respect his Dominican heritage and all of this, he's not built for New York. He's not. He's
Well,
not built for New York.
listen, I
And
always
hold on.
say,
Only reason I'm gonna say that is I'm gonna say that to say this. When PJ Carlin-Simone got choked out by Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell was on the Golden State Warriors. He was with Chris Mullin. He
yep,
was with Mitch Richmond. I think
yep,
they had Tim Hardaway. They had a
yes,
squad, right?
yes, they did.
So we knew about Latrell Sprewell. I wanted Latrell Sprewell on the Knicks. When Latrell Sprewell came to the Knicks, he was like, F Patrick Ewing, F
For
Big
real.
Undy, F this dude, F everybody. I'm doing my numbers, and Latrell Sprewell helped the Knicks get to the finals against
He
the San
did.
Antonio Spurs in '99.
He
So
did.
again, if we could get half or a quarter of that fire that Sprewell brought and call it, and go ahead, right? It's never going to happen.
Not
It
going to
may happen
happen.
for one game or two games, but in May and
Not
June,
going to
when we need
happen.
it to happen, and this dude shrinks like he always does,
That's who he is. He's one of the guys. He's not the guy. He's one of the guys, and he will never be that guy that y'all want him to be. You gotta embrace who he is. Embrace
yeah, whatever.
it.
But I mean, right now, we are in the I guess you could say the last week of February, getting ready to get March. So we speak to the March Madness type of thing, and people like to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in the basketball courts and things of that nature. This is a very very important stretch. NBA wise, you're looking at these players now. You got to keep
Yep.
count because remember the MVP cutoff is at 65 games.
Well, well,
So
there's already plenty of them
that
that's
that that
there.
are eligible. That's what I was getting ready to get at. But
Yeah,
yeah, and it's crazy, basket. We're in February, kid,
yeah.
and you already got guys that, and not just talking about like guys that are average 6 and 7 for role player guys. We're talking about faces of the league guys
Yeah.
that
I
are
mean,
eligible for the MVP.
you could look at it as being the way the game is played now. The play style is different. Um, Back to backs. This is what
Yeah,
they're saying.
right, right, right.
But
It's
I feel
into
like
it.
it's more the play style of the game. The game is faster. Big guys are playing like guards. Guards are playing like big guys. Everybody is cutting to the basket. Everybody's shooting threes. It's a faster paced game now, and we're seeing a lot of soft tissue injuries. You know, ACLs, like things like that, shoulders, like these guys, they're not as durable, as the guys in the past. Um, and the MVP race, talk should be, it's going to be a little different. We're not going to have the LeBrons and the Steph and the Kawhis and I don't even think Jokic. Well, he's like on the cuffs. Luca, I think, is also on the cuffs. So there's a lot of people that's like, you're not making a cut, and this may change how the league look at this again because just picture no LeBron, no Luca, no Joker, no
No
Giannis,
Giannis.
no Steph, no Kawhi. These are
Oh, no
marquee
Ja.
names. Yeah, like these are marquee names that you generally talk about. MVP. So when you don't have these guys no more, um, it may steer the conversation to 65 games. 65 games. So who knows?
Yeah, so I don't know if Dorian Finney-Smith is an MVP candidate, but He'll probably get more votes than a lot of people that we usually see up there.
Yeah.
Um, Here's my thing, Browski, and I've been wanting to say this, and I know Browski's gonna probably throw a Jalen Hurts new sneaker at me. The NBA is not going to be right until the coaches start wearing suits again. All this Fashion Nova and Jimmy Jazz and USA Blue and all of this, get back to wearing suits. You can't tell who's the player and who's the coach. There has to be some kind of distinction. Um, when back in back, look at this. Back in my day, all the coaches wore suits. Some of them wore suits from Men's Warehouse. Some of them wore Armani suits. Shout out to Pat Riley.
Pat
Shout out to
Riley.
Mike Fratello.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and the coaches had their own personalities and styles. All the coaches wore suits, and I think now that it's willy nilly now. It's wild. It's the wild. The NBA is the Wild West. Sports is the Wild West. Nothing is how it used to be. Everything is obsolete. The NBA MVP doesn't even have to play 82 games. You don't have to play 70 games, right? So the watering down of sports and eventually evaporates away into the steam of fakeness, the steam of scripts, the steam of the. Sometimes, Browski, I'm gonna keep it so green with you, yo. It's hard to talk about stuff sports related because we always talk about this guy did this and he's going to court and then this guy. I long for the days where we could just talk about, yo, did you see what my man did on the court last night? What are we expecting him to do in this next game? Or, what are we expecting out of this team when they go into this big game that they have to play tonight to keep their pennant hopes or their division hopes alive? The conversation, it's drifted away from sports towards, well, what's in this guy's contract? How many years does he have left? What's his endorsement deal? So who gives a about that? But that's where we are, and that's what we're here to talk about. You know, and sometimes it gets kind of redundant, man. Where it's like, well, we're talking about this guy again and what he did. You know what I mean? He can't keep his hands off the guns. He can't keep his hands off the women. He can't keep his hands off. You know what I mean? The other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
again, it gets kind of crazy and it gets kind of whack. To tell you the truth, man. Um,
Yeah.
and again, it's been going on, Browski. And I'm not trying to say, well, it started here. No, it's been going on. But now we're in
Yeah.
such an age now where it's proliferated in everything. It's everywhere. Nothing's sacred no more. So again, we just have to deal with it and talk with it as it comes. Down in Sports Talk on a Tuesday night, myself, left-handed at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now, and the homie, the Stromy, the main macaroni, MC Yada Bear, aka High Ceilings, is in the house. Um, Women's basketball. What we doing, Browski? I see Iowa State took one. They took an L. They
Yeah.
took an L. What we doing?
TCU. I actually watched that game. That was a really good game. Olivia Miles has took over in the fourth quarter. Um,
She messed
they actually
around and
did
got
a
triple double, right?
they actually did a pretty decent job on Ollie Crooks.
Hmm.
She was cooking in the first half. They made the adjustments. They started double her.
Hmm.
Put one in the front, one in the back. Making it more difficult for that entry pass. Making her work for every possession. But like I said, Olivia Miles in that fourth quarter, she went busy. She got
Hmm.
busy with the work. They did what they had to do. Came out with that victory. It's definitely heating up more. Uh, Conference championships. The tournament is running around the corner. But real quick, I want to talk about the
Go ahead, boss.
WNBA real quick.
Okay, come on.
Um, Hold on. So, um, the news of them finding $8 million. You know, a lot of back and forth with the CBA and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And one thing that I didn't know, that I didn't really realize, is that they wasn't really making no money off of their merchandise, jersey
Mm.
sales,
Okay, let's go, Browski.
uh,
Okay.
them being
Joe's.
in NBA 2K. They wasn't making money off of that. But now that they these negotiations, they actually was able to find. Oh, look, they have been profited, and we did turn a profit. It was an $8 million profit, and then they looked a little bit deeper and they said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. There's actually another $9.5 million that the owners was making from their merchandise sales, and also by them being on those video games from 2020 until now." So when these people are talking like, "Oh, well, I stand with the owners because they're not making any money," well, they have. They turned a profit, and you're not sharing the fruits of their labors with your players. You want to nickel and dime them about their contracts like they're not producing when you guys are stuffing your pockets with the proceeds. So now they're saying for players who played in the league from 2020 until 2026, they're going to divvy up their money and they should be getting up to 50 bands. Like, that's crazy that it took this long
Go ahead.
time
Yep. Yep.
for them to pay them their money.
They had it on time.
They had it the whole time. So that's like 9.5 mil of that on top of the 8 mil that they, you know, magically
Just
find that,
yeah.
oh my God, they did make a profit.
Hmm.
Here's the money right here. We couldn't find it the whole time. So these owners are extremely greedy. The NBA definitely needs to step in. I need Adam Silver to really step in and lay the law, because it's crazy that you have almost $18 million laying around,
Hmm.
and
Literally,
you
literally.
nickel you nickel and dime these women, and you have a nerve to not let them profit off of their jersey sales. Like, that's like, so you telling me all the jerseys that LeBron, his jersey sells so much, he's not making a dime off of that? Like, that's unheard of. So why is it that way for the women? It's crazy, it's sad, and I'm glad that they put it out there and pay their money.
Well, I'm gonna say this. A few years ago, they was doing it like when they had the NCAA tournament, the women's tournament. They was staying in
Oh
like
my God.
motel eights and motel sixes and all that.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
wasn't 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So again, we watched the WNBA plead poverty, right? We watched them say, "Hey, this thing is not turning the profit that we think it should.
Uh-huh.
It's turning profit all the time." You go from having these teams that you want to expand, now you want to expand, now you want to expand. These franchises are paying fees.
Yes.
These owners are paying fees. Where's that money going?
Exactly.
Where's the money going? That these WME, you expand the schedule, It was for now it's 40 some odd games.
You got TV deal. You on national TV. You got a WNBA league pass.
Sound like an old Keith Sweat song. Something, 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 something. Just ain't right.
Yeah, sound
Um,
ain't right.
yeah, the math ain't mathy, my G. Um,
Definitely not.
but yeah, when you have to get down to the bare bones, because now Browski, when you explain, because I didn't know all of this, right?
Yeah,
That's why y'all should watch Down to Sports, because Browski brings the heat. High ceilings in the building. Um, with that being said, I mean, they forced the league's hand because they had to face the prospect of not having a season. They faced the
exactly.
prospect of having two. Is it two expansion teams this year or one, Browski?
It's going to be two,
Okay,
Toronto and Portland.
okay. So you had you was facing the prospect after talking all this junk. You still ain't had your draft yet, right? So after talking all this junk about we're going to expand and we're going to do this for the ladies and we're going to make the
Yep,
revenue thing and more feasible for
yep,
them and more profitable for us, they had to go and twist your arm to go find $17 million. When I was crying that you was broke,
yeah,
you're about to stop the season. The CBA is off in tatters, but there's $17.5 million in the cut somewhere.
yep.
That came from somewhere that
Came from
nobody knew
somewhere.
nothing about until the clock said 11:58, and
Yeah.
we're facing the prospect of not having a 2026 season.
Like, oh, oh my God, well, look at this and look at
Yeah,
that. Like, come
look at
on, man.
this. Look what I found.
Yeah,
So, like now, in all your greed, you're gonna have to retroactively pay
yeah,
these women
yep,
for 6 years
yep,
of their toil and trouble, worrying about if they have to go overseas to supplement their income, being separated from their families, going to jail. What are we doing?
exactly, exactly.
What
So,
are we doing?
yeah,
That
it's
that
crazy.
get me don't get me started.
Yeah, so
So
that's what's
again,
happening.
it opens up a whole can of worms from a common sense perspective. Like
It does.
what
It
the
does.
was you doing?
Yep.
And I know that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert or whatever her name is or whatever.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yo, s- s- somebody has to take the fall, Browski. Somebody has to
Yeah.
be the scapegoat. Somebody has to be the one to be like, you know what, this was under my watch, and I'm going to step down or whatever the case may be, because that's not right. $17.5 million. I can see if
Not
it
a
was
good look.
5 or 10. 17 and a half.
Yep, it's not a good look at all.
It's not a good look. It screams, highway robbery. It screams, dare I say, racism. Dare I
Yeah.
say, sexism. Because the NBA dudes will get their money.
Yep.
Will leave that. So again, does it take people have to go out and buy Angel Reese jerseys or go out and cop these jerseys and stuff like that so the league can be seen?
Yep.
Because the only time you really see those jerseys is if you're watching the game.
Yep. It's crazy because, like I said, for years people keep saying they're not making no money. It's a waste. Well, the 8 mil is, you know, is the revenue sharing. Share the revenue with your players.
And that's the proof that you was making money.
Yes. And
Yep.
then, and then, like I said, it was actually it's 9.2 million that they have to divvy up from sales from jerseys, trading cards, video games, and other merchandise like the stuff, the T-shirts and stuff they sell at the stadium,
Right.
the
Right.
hats and everything. So for 2020. For 6 years, and then we turn around and oh look, 2025
Somebody's
we
somebody getting
made
fired.
yeah, like in 2025 we made
Somebody getting
enough
fired.
money that it generated revenue share of $8 million. So you telling me we got $17.2 billion to divvy up for the players? Ex-
I,
raise
Ozzy Wilson gonna send Bam up to the offices and be like, let me get some of that, son. You owe
Exactly.
me.
Raise the salary cap. You know, you can raise salary cap with some of that money, and then, like I said, divvy up that 9.2 billion because this is money that they earned. People
Yep.
buying their jerseys, buying their hats, buying shoes,
Buying tickets to the game.
taking to the game. Like that's really, really messing with me because I'm like, yo, every 2K that have came out since like what 2020 has had like a section where it was WNBA players in it. And I'm like, oh, cool. They're in video games. So they should be making bread off of that. Come
Hmm.
to find out, they're not making bread off of that.
Why?
So you treating them like the college kids that they fought tooth and nail to get the NIL deals because you've been making money off of college football and college basketball for years, and these kids wasn't getting no bread. Then we flip it to the WNBA side, 2K Sports. You making all this bread, having them in this game, and you not throwing them no bread. Like that's crazy work to me. And I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad they getting a piece of the pie because that's ridiculous.
Talk your ish, Rossi, because you're absolutely right. So I didn't know again that they were on the video game since 2020. So
Yeah,
isn't that their name, image, and likeness?
yeah,
So, yo,
yeah.
they rob you blind, and you go out
Sure
there
do.
and you put your career out there on the line, man. And this is the thanks you get. Now you have to go in there and find out that they've been ripping you off the whole time, you
Yep,
know. And it's really sad that a league that is just getting established, just finding its feet. You know what I mean? And a
yeah,
couple of years we was talking about, well, yeah, we need to do this, and the WNBA needs to do that, and the WNBA needs this, and they was doing it the whole time.
yeah.
So they had a little
Sure.
GoFundMe thing going on back there, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. So I just it's Brodsky, it gets back to the thing about what are we watching here? Are we watching a giant experiment that's starting to go wrong in front of our eyes right here? Because again, man, I feel like what we used to take sacred and whole, it's now it's like we've been fooled.
Yeah,
We've been fooled all this time. We have been
yeah.
fooled all this time, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray, all of that. And I'm mad, but again, how do we react to it when you could be bought for $1? You could be
Yeah,
bought. You can be bought for $1, man. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So the bottom line and the main objective of all these franchises, I don't care if it's a franchise in Minnesota or it's a franchise in New York City, their bottom line is the bottom line.
Yep.
Simple as that. And we just here to comment on we're the ones that's commenting on the other stuff. They worry about the bottom line, the profit margin, things of that nature, where to stash this money,
Yep.
where to get all this money, these $8 and $9 million. Where do they have it? Who found it? Let's
Exactly.
get let's get Harvey and them on the case. You
Yeah,
know what I
who
mean?
found
Like
it?
that's a lot of money, yo.
It is. It
It's a
is.
lot of money. Um, we have hit Browski's favorite part of the show when we call it get down on it, when Browski and myself choose to particular topics to get down on. We got a few minutes, you know what I mean? So Browski, it's on you. Take your time. What you getting down on tonight?
I'm I'm getting down on the fight. Clarissa Shields versus Cruz. Um, rematch 10 years. Later. These ladies are in different stages of their career. Um, the weigh in was crazy. The fight outside. Everybody pulling up with furs. I was like, oh, everybody got a fur.
Yellow
What
furs, little
what's
furs.
happening? Everybody got fur on. And then next thing you know, we going face to face. First it was forehead to brim, then
Listen, what is this?
forehead to brim, forehead to forehead, a
Yeah,
push, and then all chaos,
yeah, yep.
erupted, you know. And then we get to the fight. What we all been waiting for. The card was actually good. I'll say that. The card was entertaining, the undercard fights. Um, but the main event, um, I'll say this. I'm not the hugest Clarissa Shields fan, personally. Her personal behavior outside the ring, it's a little too much. But in the ring, I give her all the respect. She gets busy. This was one of her best fights that I've seen her have in a while. Um, competitive. She had to make adjustments on the fly in the ring, and she did. Um, I was disappointed in Cruz because she came out the same way she did 10 years ago. Pedal to the metal. The first 3 to 4 rounds, you know, she was, just going heavy, hard body karate, giving all she got. And about time like the fifth, sixth round came, she was gassed. You know, she had one hell of a jab. Of course, it had a look a cut over her eye. Again, we haven't really seen her show any type of injuries to the face like that. But she got a little marked up. But like I said, by the time the sixth round came, she was gassed, and Clarissa just walked her.
Started whooping that trick.
Yeah, basically, she just like walked it to the finish line. Like, all right, now I got you. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to tire yourself out, and she did. And she put on a little master class, and it was appreciated. Like I said, I haven't seen her have that type of competition in the ring for a while. So it was good to see. Um, I did enjoy it. Can't wait to see what she gonna do next. I heard her talk about Michaela, doing like a catch weight fight with her. That's something I would like to see. 'Cause I like both of them. And then she said, next year she might take some time off. Said she want to have a baby. Looking at you, Pat Cruz. That's yeah. She said she want to have a baby, so we'll see how that goes. But all in all, it was a good fight.
Send your email to Yada Bear,
I'm just saying, we're gonna see
yo.
how that goes. But at the end of the day, it was a really good fight. I enjoyed it, and Charlie, nobody wants to see Manny out, Pacquiao and Mayweather too. Nobody wants to see that. But the Shields fight was good. I did appreciate that. Um, and now that's what I'm getting down on. Salute to the goat. You know, she did her thing. Yeah.
I'm getting down on not wanting to see Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Start to see the back of that refrigerator, huh? Ain't you, Floyd? Putting all that money in and flashing and showing off. Nothing wrong with that. You do you, this and that, the third. All that betting. You're supposed to have, accountable streams of income. You getting back in the ring for one reason and one reason only. So that says to me, all of that high-sided and flossing and everybody does it. Don't get it twisted. But it's certain degrees. When you sitting at the game and Jay-Z and his daughter is 2 seats down from you and you put out a big duffel bag and you counting money and that's corny, man.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen from a dude who has to get back in the ring at 50 years old. Dudes who are 50 years old who are counting money out of duffel bags at basketball games don't have to get back in the ring and fight exhibitions and then decide to resume their boxing career. And everybody's supposed to jump out the window and act like it's 1999 or 2003.
Yeah.
Wants to see that, yo. Nobody wants to see that. This is an example, and I'm an old head. And I don't want to see it. The first time you thought it was 5 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Now you want to try to fool people again? You can't be serious, yo. You cannot be serious. And I'm definitely getting down on let me cook. You're a wild bum for that, yo. You get on here and you talk down to all these people. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into what happens in your family situation. I don't got nothing to do with that. But my man, you played it like you was untouchable, unreachable, unfallible, impregnable, all those abos. And now you got to climb back into the ring. It's crazy. Yeah, we know about the story when he was in Saudi Arabia and this and that. We know about that. We know about that. So for me, I'm not interested in it. I'm definitely not interested in it. I don't really care about it. Do what you do. And for the people who are going to pay for it, it's the $79.99 or the $99.99, whatever, do your thing.
Do you?
Do your thing. Word up. And Ryan Garcia, you went in there and you exposed Mario Barrios for the bum that he is. Mario Barrios never really had a chance.
It was embarrassing.
It was. I mean, the first 30 seconds of the fight, you got dropped with an overhand. When you got hit with an overhand right, then you got hit with another overhand right, and then you went down.
He went down.
So,
I said, oh.
Mario Barrios should remove himself from all conversation of having championship aspirations. I'm interested in seeing what Leo Santa Cruz does for a comeback because we haven't seen him since Tank put him to sleep.
Yeah.
Richardson Hitchens. Yo. How you gonna play yourself, B? You talked all that basura, that garbage, that sugar honey iced tea, and then became fight night.
Sick.
Sicker than the average. Now, in my opinion, Richardson Hitchens goes to the back of the line. Because we're too invested now in the Shakurs.
Yep.
Right? Those guys. You know what I mean?
Garcia now.
We're too invested in those guys.
Yep.
So again, if you want to get up here and you want to pontificate and talk about how nice you are, what you're gonna do, and this, that, and the third, that's fine. But you got to show and prove that. You know. Then you got these dudes coming out of left field, Jamel Charlo and all these weirdo guys. And no, your moment's past, yo. Because you sat around waiting for a proverbial bag that wasn't never going to come. Once the networks, the TV networks got out the game, it was over for y'all. I think we talked about this before. Once HBO and Showtime and got out the game and PVC and all that, they got out the game, it was a wrap for you.
Yep.
So now you just out here talking about what you used to do or what you could have do or what you might do. No. No. No, 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 no. Even if you got to go out here and get knocked out. Deontay Wilder. Do your thing. But don't get up here trying to fool people and talk. You'll lead you to the water, but then you forget how to drink.
Yep.
And I'm going to land my plane on that. This is Down in Sports. Myself, left-handed at RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. And over there, you got Yada Bear, a.k.a. High Ceilings, a.k.a. Rain, Sleet, Hail, or Snow. I'm going to get you there and let you know. Yada Bear's in the building. Listen, we gonna rock with y'all, man. We got the baseball preview. I gotta go behind the scenes and talk to Yada Bear and see what we're gonna do about the baseball preview and all that, because it might be the last baseball we're gonna see for a while.
Yeah,
So we might have to go hard on this one. That's Yada Bear over there. I'm left-handed over here. Y'all be easy, do what y'all do, and we will talk to y'all next Tuesday night down in Sports.
Peace.
Right? Peace in the Middle East and soup in Beirut and all of that. And let's go. WNBA, get your thing together, man.
Get it together.
Browski don't go nowhere. We out, y'all. We'll talk to y'all next week.